In the heart of Heartland, a storm is brewing. Amy Fleming, still reeling from the loss of her beloved Ty, now faces an even bigger question, one that will shape the future of her family. As she carries a new life, there's a mystery that can't be ignored. Who is the father? The man who left too soon, or the one who stayed by her side through it all? In a world where love and loss collide, Amy must choose between the past and the future. The answer to this question could change everything. The calm before the storm. The camera opens on a tranquil, early morning at Heartland Ranch. The sun peeks over the horizon, casting a soft glow across the sprawling land. The air is still, but the heavy clouds on the horizon hint at the storm that's about to unfold. In the distance, we see Amy standing in the barn, her hand gently resting on the smooth wood of the stall door. The faint sound of horses neighing in the background fills the silence. Amy's face is thoughtful, her eyes a little distant as though she's lost in thought. Her belly, now unmistakably round with the life growing inside her, moves gently with her breath. She gazes down at the soft movements beneath her, the miracle of life that both comforts and confuses her. A gentle knock on the barn door breaks her reverie, and she turns to see Lou standing in the doorway, a concerned look on her face. "Amy, are you all right?" Lou asks, her voice soft but filled with concern. Amy forces a smile, though it's clear that something weighs on her mind. "Just thinking," Amy replies, her voice strained with emotion. "So much has changed, and yet it feels like everything's still the same." Lou steps inside the barn, her eyes scanning Amy's face, reading the unspoken pain. She knows the toll that Ty's loss has taken on her sister-in-law. "It's hard, I know, but you're not alone in this. We're all here for you." Amy nods, appreciating Lou's words, but the doubt remains. She knows that the future of her family, of Heartland, depends on the choices she makes now. The choice between Nathan and Ty isn't just about her heart. It's about what's best for the baby and for the ranch that has been her family's legacy for generations. As Amy turns to look out over the vast land of Heartland, the camera lingers on her face, her eyes filled with a mixture of longing and uncertainty. She's standing on the precipice of a decision that will change everything. A love lost, a love found. The screen fades from the peaceful barn to a flashback, a moment of joy amidst the sorrow. The image is warm, almost glowing with the tender light of a sunset. Amy and Ty stand close together in the middle of the barn, laughing as they hold each other. Ty's hands rest lightly on Amy's shoulders, his smile as wide as ever. They're carefree, lost in each other's gaze, surrounded by the warmth of the life they built together. But the moment is fleeting. The scene shifts abruptly, and the gentle laughter fades into the sounds of silence. Amy is now alone, sitting at the edge of the same barn, holding a small framed photo of her and Ty. Her fingers trace the edges of the picture, each movement filled with the kind of longing that only comes from love lost too soon. The photo, a happy memory, now serves as a constant reminder of what she has lost. Ty's absence is a hole in her heart, one she doesn't know how to fill. But life doesn't stop for grief. A figure steps into the frame. Nathan. His presence is steady, comforting though not without its own complexity. He's always been there, offering help and support whenever Amy needed it, even before Ty's death. He sits down beside her, his eyes soft but full of understanding. "You miss him, don't you?" Nathan asks, his voice low, respectful of the pain she carries. Amy nods, her eyes never leaving the photo in her hands. "Every day, it still feels unreal, like I'm waiting for him to walk through that door telling me everything's going to be okay." Nathan watches her for a moment before speaking again. "I know I'm not him, but if you need someone, I'm here, Amy. I always have been." The camera lingers on Amy's face as she processes Nathan's words. There's a spark of something in her eyes, a connection maybe, or a conflict. Nathan's words, His steady presence are comforting, but they're not Ty. And yet the choice before her is harder than ever. Her heart longs for the past, for the man she once shared everything with. But her life is moving forward, whether she's ready for it or not. As the moment stretches, Amy looks out over the ranch, her heart torn between the memory of Ty and the reality of Nathan, who has become more than just a friend. The future, like the land before her, is uncertain and vast, filled with choices that seem impossible to make. And yet there's a baby growing inside her, a constant reminder that life doesn't wait for healing. She has to make a choice. But which path leads to the future she wants, and which one will keep her tied to the past forever? The weight of two worlds. The camera fades into the warmth of the family kitchen, sunlight streaming through the windows and casting a soft glow across the room. Amy stands at the counter, her hands mechanically chopping vegetables for dinner, but her mind is miles away. She moves slowly, as if each motion is deliberate, weighed down by the thoughts that swirl endlessly in her mind. Lou enters the room, her footsteps light but purposeful. She watches her sister-in-law for a moment, noticing the faraway look in Amy's eyes, the tension in her shoulders that refuses to fade. Lou, always the protector, always the voice of reason, leans against the doorframe and crosses her arms. "Amy, you can't keep doing this to yourself," Lou says, her voice gentle, but firm. "You need to talk about it. The whole Nathan or Ty thing, it's not just about you anymore. You have to decide for the baby, for your future." Amy's knife pauses mid-air. The vegetables, now half-chopped, remain on the cutting board, forgotten. She turns slowly to face Lou, her expression unreadable, a mixture of gratitude and frustration. I know I need to decide. But every time I think I'm ready, something pulls me back. It's like I'm living in two worlds, one where Ty is still here, where everything feels right, and one where Nathan's here now, and it's different. Lou steps closer, offering a comforting hand on Amy's arm. It is different, but different doesn't have to mean bad. Nathan is here, and he's been here for you, Amy. I can see the way he looks at you. He's not trying to replace Ty, but he wants to help you, to be there for you and for the baby. Amy looks down at her hands, clenched tight around the knife handle. But is it fair to either of them? Nathan deserves to know where he stands, and so does my baby. I can't keep them both hanging on a thread. There's a heavy silence that follows as Lou waits, sensing the depth of Amy's inner turmoil. The weight of expectation, the desire for certainty, presses in on Amy, pulling her in two opposite directions. One path leads her to the memory of a love that will never truly fade, while the other holds the promise of something new, something she's not sure she's ready for. I know it's hard, Lou says quietly, but you can't let fear stop you from living. You have a choice to make, and it's okay to not have all the answers right now. Just don't wait too long. Amy exhales a slow, shaky breath, her eyes focused on the counter in front of her. The choice, the decision that will affect so many lives, seems almost too much to bear. She turns away from Lou, staring out the window, toward the distant horizon, where the land of Heartland stretches endlessly, full of both promise and uncertainty. The baby moves inside her, a reminder that time isn't waiting, that she must act. But where is the line between loyalty to the past and the possibility of the future? A tension builds. The sun is setting, casting long shadows across the ranch as the camera shifts to the barn, where Amy is working alone. She moves with purpose, gathering the tools needed for the evening chores, but there's an undeniable tension in her movements. Her steps a little too quick, her hands a little too tight around the reins. The barn doors creak open, and Nathan steps inside, his presence filling the space immediately. He's come by to check on her, a quiet offer of help as always. But tonight his approach is different. There's a subtle urgency to his steps, something unspoken in the air between them. Amy looks up briefly, offering a small, distracted smile. Hey, Nathan, didn't expect you tonight. Her voice lacks its usual warmth, the strain in her tone almost too noticeable. Nathan doesn't move toward her right away. Instead, he studies her, his eyes searching. I know you're carrying a lot right now, Amy, and I know this ranch means everything to you. But you've been carrying it all on your own for a while now. I'm not asking you to forget Ty, or to replace him. I want to help. I'm here, for you, for this place. Amy's eyes flicker with something almost like frustration, but she hides it quickly. She doesn't want to feel this way. Nathan has been there for her, especially in the months since Ty's passing. He's been patient, understanding, offering her the stability she needs. But with every act of kindness, the more conflicted she becomes. Nathan's help feels like a lifeline, but it's also a reminder of the uncertainty she's trying to avoid. I know, Nathan. I appreciate it, she says, turning back to the horses, her voice tight. But things are complicated right now. I don't know where I stand. I don't know if I can even make any of this work. I'm not sure I can give you what you're asking for. Nathan's face falls for a moment, but only for a second. He's heard this before. Amy pulling away, her walls going up. The pain of losing Ty still haunts her, and he's learned not to push her too hard. But tonight, he can't hold back. The words are on the tip of his tongue, and despite the risk, he says them anyway. I'm not asking you to forget Ty. But I'm here, Amy. I care about you. I've always cared about you. And I want to be there for you. All of you. Not just the person you were before, but the person you're becoming now. I'm not asking for the past, but the future. Our future. Amy's breath catches, and for the first time, she feels the full weight of Nathan's words. Her eyes lock with his, and there's a long, loaded silence between them. She wants to say something, to explain herself, but the words don't come. The truth is, she doesn't know if she's ready for a future with Nathan. Any future, really. The sound of hooves in the distance breaks the moment, and the distraction is just enough to pull Amy back to reality. She turns away from Nathan, quickly, pulling herself together, but the tension in her shoulders is impossible to ignore. Nathan watches her, his jaw tight, a mixture of determination and disappointment in his gaze. He's made his feelings known, and now it's up to Amy to decide where she wants to go from here. The space between them has never felt wider, and yet there's nowhere else for her to go but forward. Just think about it, Amy, Nathan says, quietly, his voice soft but heavy with meaning. I'll be here when you're ready. Amy watches him leave, the door closing behind him with a finality that leaves her standing in the silence. The barn feels colder now, the air thicker. She's faced with a decision that she knows she can't avoid much longer. It's not just about the past anymore. It's about the life she's building for herself and her baby. The future is waiting, but is she ready to take the step into it? The storm within. The scene opens to a darkening sky, heavy clouds rolling in above Heartland Ranch. The wind picks up, rustling through the trees and creating an eerie atmosphere. Amy stands in the middle of the pasture, her boots sinking slightly into the wet earth. The distant sound of thunder rumbles in the air, matching the storm brewing inside her. She stares out over the vast landscape, the ranch that has been her home for as long as she can remember. The same ranch that now feels so different, so uncertain. The baby moves inside her, a quiet reminder of the future she can no longer ignore, and yet her heart still clings to the past. She thought she could keep the two worlds apart. Ty's memory and the life she's trying to build with Nathan, but it's impossible. They're colliding, and she's caught in the middle. In the distance, Lou approaches, her face a mask of concern as she steps closer to her sister-in-law. Amy? Lou's voice calls through the wind, but Amy doesn't answer. She remains, standing, her eyes fixed on the horizon. I know you're struggling, Lou says softly, moving beside Amy. She stands in silence for a moment, letting the weight of the moment sink in. But you're not alone in this, Amy. Not now. Not ever. Amy turns her head slowly, her eyes tired, filled with the silent war inside her. I don't know how to do this, Lou. I don't know how to let go of Ty, and I don't know how to open myself up to Nathan. It feels like I'm betraying someone either way. Lou places a hand on Amy's shoulder, offering a small, comforting squeeze. You're not betraying anyone, Amy. You're allowed to love Ty and still move forward. You're allowed to be happy again. And Nathan, he's not a replacement. He's just part of the next chapter. Your chapter. Amy's gaze drifts back to the horizon, but her thoughts are a tangled mess. The thunder rumbles again, louder this time, as if echoing the turmoil inside her. The storm feels symbolic, a warning that everything is about to change, whether she's ready or not. A few moments of silence pass before Amy speaks again, her voice soft but filled with resolve. I need to make a decision. For my baby, for the ranch. I can't keep waiting, torn between what I had and what might be. She pauses, her eyes narrowing as the wind picks up. But what if I make the wrong choice? What if I hurt someone I care about? Or worse, what if I hurt myself? Lou watches her carefully, her expression both understanding and protective. There's no such thing as a perfect decision. You can't control everything, Amy. But you can choose to move forward, and that's what you need to do, move forward. A gust of wind blows Amy's hair across her face, and she brushes it away absently, her mind still turning. She knows Lou is right. She's been stuck in the past, holding on to memories that are no longer hers to keep. But letting go of Ty, of that dream of the life they were supposed to have, feels like losing him all over again. The fear is overwhelming. But then, she feels the gentle nudge inside her. A kick from the baby. Small, but real. That tiny life is depending on her to be strong, to choose. Amy presses her hand to her belly, her fingers tracing the curve of her growing child. Her heart softens. She doesn't have to forget Ty, but she has to live. And that means embracing the future, no matter how uncertain it feels. I have to let go, she whispers to herself, barely audible over the wind. For them. For us. Lou watches, her closely, nodding slowly. And when you're ready, you'll know exactly what to do. No one's rushing you, just don't close yourself off. Amy stands in the middle of the storm, the wind howling around her. Yet something inside her shifts. A new clarity begins to form. She may not have all the answers, but for the first time in months, she feels the weight of the decision lifting. Just a little. The future is calling, and despite her fear, despite the storm that rages within her, she knows it's time to face it head on. As Amy turns back toward the ranch house, her steps feel lighter. The storm may be raging in the skies above, but something inside her is beginning to settle. Slowly, carefully, but with a quiet confidence. The path ahead is unclear, but she is finally ready to walk it. The moment of truth. The camera cuts to a dimly lit room, the warmth of a flickering fire casting shadows on the walls. Amy sits by the window, her figure silhouetted against the soft glow of the evening light. The ranch is quiet, the sounds of the wind outside almost drowned by the weight of the decision pressing down on her. The night feels heavy with anticipation, as if the world itself is holding its breath. She stares out the window, her thoughts a whirlpool of emotion. Her heart is torn between the love she once shared with Ty and the future she could build with Nathan. The silence in the room seems to deepen as she reflects on the days and nights that led her here. The choice that seemed impossible now feels like an unavoidable truth, one that she has to face, for herself, for her baby, for everything that Heartland represents. A soft knock at the door pulls Amy from her thoughts, and without waiting for her response, Nathan steps inside. His eyes meet hers, and there's an unspoken understanding between them. He knows the weight of what's happening, the significance of this moment. His voice is low but steady when he speaks. Amy, I know you've been carrying this alone for too long. And I know it's not easy, but I need to ask you one thing. Are you ready to take the next step? With me. With this baby. With the life we could have together. Amy's heart skips a beat. The question hangs in the air, heavy with meaning. She's been waiting for this moment, waiting to feel ready, to feel certain. But even now, with everything inside her pushing for clarity, the decision still feels overwhelming. She wants to say yes. She wants to embrace the future. But the ghost of Ty lingers in the corners of her mind, pulling at her heart. Her voice cracks as she speaks, barely a whisper. I don't know if I'm ready, Nathan. I wish I could just give you an answer. I want to be sure. I want to be the person you need. But I'm not sure who I am anymore. I'm still figuring that out. Nathan steps closer, his expression soft, patient. He places a hand on the back of her chair, a silent offer of comfort and support. You don't have to be sure right now. No one is asking you to have it all figured out. But just know, I'm here, no matter what. I want to be part of your journey, our journey. With or without certainty, I'm not going anywhere. Amy's heart swells with emotion, the warmth of his words wrapping around her like a blanket. But the weight of the past is still there, holding her back. The baby stirs inside her, a gentle reminder that time is slipping away. I don't want to hurt anyone, she says, her voice barely audible, a tremor of vulnerability there that she can't hide. And I don't want to lose what I had with Ty. But I can't keep living in the past. I need to move forward. Nathan's face softens, his hand resting lightly on her shoulder. You don't have to forget Ty. I'd never ask you to. He'll always be a part of you, Amy. But that doesn't mean your life stops. It doesn't mean your story ends here. For a long moment, Amy remains silent, her eyes locked on the soft glow of the fire, the shadows flickering and dancing on the walls. Everything feels heavy, and yet, in this stillness, there's a clarity she hasn't felt before. The room feels like it's holding its breath, the world waiting for her to make her move. And then, with a quiet sigh, Amy rises from her chair, the decision forming in her mind with a certainty that surprises her. She looks up at Nathan, her eyes filled with both sorrow and hope. I'm ready, Nathan. I'm ready to take that step. For the baby. And for us. Nathan's expression softens, his eyes lighting up with a mix of relief and gratitude. He steps forward, his hand gently brushing her cheek. I'll be here. Every step of the way. The camera pulls back, the warm light from the fire flickering against the darkened window, casting long shadows across the room. Amy, standing tall in the quiet stillness of the moment, knows that the hardest part is over. The storm has passed. What lies ahead is unknown, but she's ready to face it. She's made her choice, and now the future is waiting. The screen fades to black, leaving the promise of a new chapter. The quiet before the dawn. The screen opens to a still, silent morning. The sun has just begun to rise, casting pale golden light over the expansive Heartland ranch. The birds chirp softly, and the morning fog clings to the earth in a quiet embrace. The air is crisp and fresh, as if the world itself is taking a breath, holding on to the promise of something new. Amy stands at the edge of the pasture, her gaze fixed on the horizon. The gentle breeze moves through her hair, but her mind is still. Her heart settled in a way it hasn't been for a long time. The weight of the decision, the uncertainty that has hung over her for so long, is no longer as heavy. She has chosen a path, a future, for her and her baby. Behind her, Nathan approaches, walking quietly, his footsteps blending with the soft sounds of the morning. He doesn't speak at first, but his presence is solid, reassuring. Amy turns to face him, a soft smile tugging at the corners of her lips. The light catches her face, a reflection of the peace she's beginning to find within herself. We're really doing this, aren't we? Amy says softly, her voice steady but full of the emotions she's kept inside for so long. Nathan steps closer, his eyes never leaving hers. We are, together. You've already done so much on your own, Amy. Now it's time for us to do this, as a family. There's a brief pause as the weight of the words hangs between them. Family. The word feels so right, and yet so new. It's a promise, one that neither of them can fully grasp yet, but both are ready to step into. The baby moves again, a soft flutter that brings Amy's hand to her belly instinctively. She feels the tiny life growing inside her, a living, breathing connection to the future she's embracing. And for the first time in a long while, Amy feels a sense of calm, a sense of certainty. The path ahead is still unclear. The challenges ahead still great, but she is no longer standing at the crossroads. She has chosen, and that choice feels like a quiet victory in itself. Nathan places a hand on her shoulder, his voice soft and sincere. You're not alone in this, Amy. I'm here, and I always will be. Amy meets his gaze, her heart full, but her eyes still reflecting the depth of everything she's been through. I know. And I'm ready. I'm ready for what comes. Next, they stand there for a moment, the stillness of the morning enveloping them. No more questions, no more uncertainty. Just the two of them, standing side by side, ready to face whatever the future holds. The camera pulls back slowly, capturing the vast expanse of Heartland in the distance, the ranch, the land, the life they are about to build together. The peacefulness of the scene contrasts with the storm that has raged inside Amy, but it marks a new beginning, the calm before the dawn. As the screen fades to black, the sound of a heartbeat echoes softly, a reminder of the life Amy is carrying, the future they will create. The journey is just beginning. The screen fades to the Heartland logo, followed by the text. Heartland Season 19, the premiere, coming soon.